Hey,
Hi, can you hear me okay?
I can. How are you better?
Sort of. We're getting there. We're trying our best. It's been a weird couple weeks. I don't know what happened. I ended up losing my voice. This is not even what I sound like. So,
I
uh,
listen, we can do this next week. I'm not in any rush. You can take the time. Let's do it next week. I know what it's like
no,
to
I
make
get.
coach people, and I know that you feel you have don't even give a shit. Really. What does
I
next week look like?
I got my beverage. I'm good. I actually kind
Are
of
you
like
sure?
I like this deeper tone. I wish I could talk like this all the time.
You're like,
Uh,
this is what I really sound like deep down.
and on the inside, this is what I want to sound like. But
I like
welcome to Down the Rabbit Hole podcast. Thank you for taking the time to come talk to me. I'm very impressed by your level of just take charge because I do admit lately I've been kind of faulty for not following up as much as I should, especially with like doing my podcast and everything. And every time I do record. I always end up doing like a quick life update, and it's like this last 6 months have been weird for the most part. Just to catch everyone up, I put a little like put the podcast not on like on the back burner, but just like on the front burner, but just on low. I've been focusing a lot more on my DJing, which has been here I live in Salem, Oregon, so it's like been more lucrative in a sense where I'm actually getting paid work now, which is weird because I was like, oh,
love that.
yeah, I was like, I'm in a podcast, and 6 years ago I started DJing, and I was like, let me buy the stuff, and that's what I do now for funsies on the side, and so it's just kind of funny that I'm like, I do this part, this is Luis Noriega when I talk and do the podcast, and then next thing you know, like, oh, tonight I'll be like with just a bunch of screaming drunk people, and play Bad Bunny.
Yeah, I love that. No, go you. It's always the way. When I started my business, I was an entrepreneur and coaching was the thing that I did on the side because it paid too well to not do it. And then it became front and central.
And I think that's why it's so cool to like talk to entrepreneurs and people who are just so self-motivated because it's like I don't know how to maneuver myself half the time. So it's kind of interesting to like take bits and pieces from different like very well educated, well-rounded, just well people who know how to handle even the slightest things of just a calendar, for example. That's the most nonchalant thing you can think of, but it's an important part of people's lives.
I think if you value time or you get paid for time, then you look at your calendar differently. That's something that's been an evolution for me. People used to say, I thought you really had hit the big time when somebody managed your calendar for you. Right?
Yeah.
I was like, oh no, 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 no. No, 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 no. There's no pee breaks, there's no lunch, there's
Uh-huh.
nothing. So I'm going to do my time myself. And then I found that that was more fun. But then it led to me doing things that made me more money because it was more fun.
That it's already been what a couple minutes, and that's already a solid piece of like knowledge. And can you just let everyone who you are and what you're about if they haven't read the little description? Because that was already just like mic drop.
Oh, that's so kind. My name is Geeta Sidhu-Robb, and I think I'm a coach. People, when you say coach, people are like, are you a life coach? And I'm like, no, I'm a blunt coach. I'm a business and life strategist. So
Uh,
that sounds really poncy, but that's kind of what I do for a living.
what got you into this business, and how do you even start that? Because I've met a couple people who on that spectrum who say life coach, and it's almost like that typical like I read a couple books and now I want to teach you stuff, and I've never seen them with much success, and I think half of it has to do with they don't know how to manage themselves.
I think also what drives you to do it. Like if you think about what drives you to do this or what drives you to do the thing that makes you more money, if you find people, I think that are passionate and then you link discipline and passion, I think success is almost an inevitability at something, right? It may not be the thing you think it's going to be, but it's coming somewhere because
Yeah.
it's what you need. Talent isn't enough almost.
No, you're 100% right. And I can even I've add that to a lot of other things in my life. My 9 to 5, I work in healthcare. I've done that for 16 years. And then I was like, this is great, but this is 9 to 5. This is 9 to 5. I love helping people, but then after a while, helping people wasn't fulfilling. and then, doing the podcast and then figuring out myself was more fulfilling, but it didn't pay.
right? So for me, I'm a single parent. So it came from poverty. It came from the fact that when I walked out of my marriage, we fell foul of our divorce system. And we have corporate laws that protect what happens in companies. So the company that I built with my ex was able to close ranks, and he was able to make sure we didn't get anything out of it, even though I had built it.
Mm-hmm.
And we ended up from this massive multi-million pound business to homeless in one easy step. We should write a book, from too much to too little. And we were living on £14 a day. My youngest child was a year old. And yeah, and the day before we were in this £8 million house and a plane and, all these things. And it's just poverty is, I think, people don't understand poverty enough. You listen to them and they're like, he just worked harder. Poverty isn't like that. Poverty is so destructive because it's like taking quicksand steps. Every step you take is harder and more difficult than somebody who doesn't have poverty to fight with. You can't build up reserves of cash. You never have enough. You never feel safe. You never are in a place where it's okay to just take a breath. Like take what breath? It's too expensive. Just get out of my way while I make more money so I can feed, buy shoes, and those things. And it's been very helpful coming from having a lot of money to having no money to now making money, because you have a different view on what that's like. And I was like, well, I've got to sell my brain or I have to sell my body. It was like I had to choose one or the other. I was like, I think I'll just sell my brain. I spent a lot of time going to school. This is why, because I wasn't willing to, and I'm talking about those days. Selling your body now has a whole different connotation. For me, it was like, do I get remarried or not,
Right.
I was like, hell no, I'm staying right here and we're never doing that one again. And I was like, what can I do? I can get people to do things that they don't know they want to do, right? Because I had a legal background, I'd been a lot on TV, and I was just like, I can communicate. So I was like, okay, I'll sell my communication skills. So I was a contract negotiator. Things would get stuck and people would fly me in to unstick them. And they would pay me £10,000 or £15,000 to do it, but I would have to leave my kids at home and go do it. And I was like, okay. And you never knew when the work was going to come. And when it came off, like in an hour, that's not a conducive life for a single parent. So I was like, okay, I'm going to build a business. So I started to build a business. And in the middle of building this business, this woman came and said, I want you to do this for me. And I was like, no, this is a really stupid idea. You need to do this. And she went, do you know who I am? And I'm like, nah, not a sausage. Literally haven't got a clue who you are. She was just terrifying. The type, the blonde, thin, scary type that you put in the freezer at night and they come out in the morning and they still look perfect. And you just are never going to look like them. She was like that. And then she came back. She was super pissed. So she left and she came back like 3 days later. And she was like, I want to hire you to tell me how to do that. And I was like what? She was like, that thing you called me stupid? I was like, I didn't call you stupid. I said the thing was, So she was like, yeah. And I was like, well, I don't know how to charge you. How do I charge you? She goes, well, I'll give you £250 an hour. I was like, babe, come back every day, every day, because we were poor. And she's like, no, we'll do once a week. And then I have to go back to America. And then, and I was like, damn, right. Let me just, so I started helping her. And the advantage was that I didn't know it had a name, because coaching in America was way ahead of coaching in the United Kingdom. We just didn't have it as a name. So I was just telling her, do this, do this, do that. I was super opinionated because I had to look after 3 kids and run a business. So I continued being opinionated and she paid me. Turned out that was called coaching. Who knew? And then she came in, and then another woman, and I worked with 21,000 women over that time. Now, if you know women, you know that we put ourselves down. We don't like how we look. We never think we're thin enough. We don't think we're good enough. We have this huge issue. And she ended up being someone really famous. And so that's why she was like, do you know who I am? And then she sent me all her friends who all had similar problems, even though I worked with Gwyneth Paltrow, Stella McCartney, Simon Cowell, 2 of the Spice Girls, the royal family, Nigel Swarovski, like all these insane people. And I didn't care because I was still poor. Like, I don't care who you are, just come in, let me help you. And you want to pay me £250 an hour too? Deal. Next, you're kind of like, I didn't think of who they were. I thought about how much I needed to get done for the kids for us to survive. And that was really helpful because it meant that I didn't care if they were famous or not. And that worked really well because then more famous people came in the door. Then it built my reputation. Then I had women come in and go, can you help me build a business? Or they would say, I'm really fat. And I'm like, you're beautiful and skinny. So where do you hate yourself? And they're like, I hate myself because I can't get my business to grow, or I can't get this guy to listen to me. I'm like, why don't we fix the guy,
Mhm.
not you? And they'd be like, oh, and then it would take you 5 months to fix the guy. And then this amazing thing would happen in the business. I'm not even kidding. Like there's a woman who came in, her company was turning over 15 million, right?
All right.
Now it had taken her 10 years to get there. That is a huge amount of money. And so I was like, okay, but you need this because she was like feeling insecure about something. It took us 7 years, Lewis, to get her business from 15 million to 52 million.
Wow.
When you get someone and have them align themselves, so their self-esteem, their self-worth, and their self-confidence are all in the same place, it's life-changing. So when you see that, then that's what I do every day. I just get paid to do that to people, and that's the best job in the
It,
world.
isn't it's I mean every job is hard with repetition you get good at it but when you bring in people like a celebrity for example I feel like once you hit a level of money you become very disconnected to the world and you know at least the few celebrities I've met they're very disconnected on a lot of things and I'm like how do you connect what's already disconnected isn't that hard for you?
Oh, no, because I didn't care. It was
Oh
really helpful. We were poor, remember? I have a
yeah.
child who's 2 years old, 3 years old. I need to buy nappies. You are not relevant to me insofar as I would be like, you need to do this. This is stupid. Don't do this. Do this. And they were like, nobody speaks to me like that. And I'm like, it's okay. You don't have to be here. Next. That was what was in my brain.
Wow. I guess
Yeah.
that's okay, that's pretty forward. And that I mean I respect you for that. I mean, goddamn. Like yes, talk to me like that. That makes sense. I mean, because yeah, I guess everyone's like I feel like there was when I did an interview with in the maybe I don't know. I try to excuse it as like because they're rock group from the 70s. I was like, "Oh, it was Heart, the Barracuda, I talked to those guys and then like is it because it's a generational gap, or is it because you think you're at a no, well, we know you're like legendary, but because you're at a level of fame where it's just like, oh, like we're rock stars. And so I was just like, this is such a weird disconnect to talk to you. But then I was just like, or is it because I'm like, at the time, I'm like, I'm only like 26 and you guys are like way past that. So it was almost like a hard disconnect to talk
You
to them.
know, the thing with people like this that I have found is that they still have the same problems we have. If
Mm,
they go on a date, they still feel like they're not good enough. If they did somebody phone me back, is he going to text me? I don't know if I should do this. Somebody screwed me over. The same things still happen. They just happen publicly.
oh, yeah.
And it's much worse. And also, nobody feels sorry for you because they're like, oh, I'm crying all the way to the bank.
Mm,
And so there aren't people that are not only on your side, but who want to be open and honest with you. And I think if you're going to hire a coach, that coach should be 1,000% have your back. And if they're not going to have your back, they shouldn't coach you.
that's valid. That's
And
actually
how
valid.
many of us have people who are 1,000% behind our back?
Slim to none. I mean, family, if anybody. But then I've seen family tear each other down for mere hundreds.
Yeah. And so then you're worth millions. How many people are in your family are going to tell you the truth when they live off you?
That's very true. That's very true. That's wild. Because it's like even just like I would never think because like my family in Mexico, I have my grandmother who's fighting over a piece of dirt not big as my
It's
office,
always a piece of dirt with nothing on it.
nothing on it, and they'd be fighting to the throat. And then at one point, I was like, don't I don't want nothing to do with that. I don't like my cousins anyway. And then so then you think about those people. You're right, like who have more than just a plot of dirt. I don't know. It's such a weird disconnect.
Yeah, I think people are people, and I know that bad things happened to me, and there were people that were helpful, and there were people that laughed at me
Hmm.
and enjoyed my misery, right? And so you never forget people that kick you when you're down, but then you also never forget, I think, the people that stand by you ever. And I always think that when I did all those things, I've never thought of it like this till I'm saying this to you now, but I felt alone all the time. I just felt like there was me and the babies, and I had nowhere to lean on. I had no family to lean on. I had because they were unhappy with it, and I had no one to lean on. So I want to be that person for the people that I work with. I want to be the person that they can lean on, they can trust, who goes, "That's a really stupid idea," or "Wow, that's an amazing idea." And you know that they're telling you the truth each time. That's worth more than gold, I think.
Which it is, but at the same time, if you're coaching other people and you're someone else's rock, who's your rock? How do you, where do we get there? Like, I want to know how you became other people's rock for now. Like, um, where where do you learn this? This is not something that just, I mean, maybe it is actually, maybe it is, but how did you become this? Like, that's such a strong quality to have. It didn't happen yesterday.
No, I think it took me about 20 years in the making,
Yeah.
but it's much faster to teach it, right? Because when you look at it over 20 years, I would think I would struggle so much because I didn't know what was keeping me stuck. I had this one mindset, never again. Never again am I going to let myself be conned this much. Never again am I going to be in this place. Never again will I be this poor. Never again any of those things, right? Never again. So what then? So I would look for places where I was the obstacle.
Hmm.
I never blamed anyone, well, apart from my ex-husband, who should totally be thrown off a cliff. I mean, like, I just think to be reasonable, we should completely chuck him off a cliff. Outside of that, love all men. So
That's
it
funny.
was, it was just, it was one step, then it was another step, and then it was another step. And I was like, okay, I'm thinking too small. What do I do to make it bigger? Okay, I don't believe in myself. How do I do this? I just thought I was the problem. And I was like, if I got out of my way, how much bigger could I get? And that's where I came from. And it has always made me bigger and bigger. And then when now I look at women, I coach men and women now, but I coach in this one place, which is that there is a big difference between the self confidence that we show to the world and the self esteem of how we think of ourselves. And so I coach in that space. And I get people to connect to self confidence and their self esteem. And then people blow up and become wildly successful because they believe in themselves inside and outside.
Is is there a time frame for your level of coaching, or does it depend on the person and their level of disconnect?
I think I know that if you come and work with me for a year, I'll give you back the best version of yourself.
Oh wow.
Right? That's fine. I know that because it's super fast. Like I usually break it into quarters. So after 3 months, you know that you can change this much. After another 3 months, you can change this. Another 3 months, you're like starting to say, okay, I'm going to change the environment around me. In the final 3 months, you're like, damn it, I'm changing the world. Right? So I can see that again and again and again. And then there are some people that are just like, okay, let me just pay you every month and I'll talk to you as and when I need you. And let me just have you on retainer. And I'm like, yeah, I'm here.
How do you do that? I mean, there's a level of trust that comes with it. I mean, your results speak for themselves, but that level of trust is still crazy to me. Like, have someone have you on speed dial like that and to pay you for that? Like, that's
Well, and I'm not even on speed dial because I really resent that. I'm like, no, I don't do that. I'm like, I'm not your friend. Please don't
uh-huh.
put me on speed dial. We book in appointments and then we, you know. So there is a huge level of trust, but I keep a lot of secrets.
Mm.
And it's really funny. So when I was little, and there were all these amazing secrets when I was little, when I first was new at this, and people would tell me things, and you could see it playing out in the newspapers, and you couldn't tell anyone. I used to have the kids sit there, and I'd be like, all the children and their teddy bears, and I'm like, oh my God, guys, guess what I found
Guess
out? Blah 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 blah, and the kids are like, can we go now? And I'm like, yes, and then they'd go, and then it became habit. So now I just keep all the secrets and don't think about it once.
does does that affect your mental health at all, knowing the other people's burdens and knowing other people's lives? I mean, just being involved in people's lives so heavily to a degree, doesn't that weigh on you though?
No, because it's not my life. Think about it. How do we give such great advice to our friends and we don't take our own advice? Because other people's problems are much easier to bear than yours.
That's true. But I mean, other people, we still hold on to it though, don't you think? Then maybe that's why we're doing it wrong. And when I say we, I mean like people in my ex circles, in my circles that I have now. These a lot we do have the tendencies of holding on to things, and it's like it's not that big of a deal. I don't know. I guess I'm trying to figure out what's important and what's not important to hold on to.
Nothing is important to hold on to. Your entire job in life is to keep moving through it all because it's not real. The minute you've gone through the thing, it's no longer your reality. It's finished. It's past. So I was in Seattle about
Yeah.
20 years ago, and I went to the fish market and they sold these little things, and I bought a clock. And I love this thing because I've lost it, but I've never forgotten it. And in the clock, it had a Buddha image in the middle. And you know where it says 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6?
Yeah.
It had now, 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 now. And it cracked me up. I love that thing. And it's a measure of how to get freedom. Because if you can pivot no matter what is happening to you without deciding if it was good or bad, then what are you losing?
Wow. That's I need to go to Seattle. I mean, that puts it in perspective. You're right. I mean, I feel like I've been moving so fast, and I feel like a lot of people I know, and especially like people who reach out on my podcast, they're like, "We move really fast, and we don't know how to stop." And I'm like, I think that's kind of the point.
And also, if you think you're moving fast, you will, but the grounding is inside,
Yeah.
right? What if the whole universe is inside you
Mm.
and you decide? And that's what I'm always trying to show people and teach people. Everything that happens, you decide whether it's good or it's bad. The word opportunity is instinctively an opportunity, and we judge whether it's a good or a bad opportunity. Don't judge it. What if the thing came and it wasn't bad? And if the thing came and it wasn't good? I mean, that's a little harder. The good I like to enjoy. But when something comes and I instinctively am like, and then I think, oh, what if this isn't bad? And then I'm able to let it go
Mm.
and see what's coming from it. Haven't you done that? Haven't things happened to you and you're like, oh my God, this is the end of my life? It's the
Oh yeah.
worst possible thing. And then you look back now and you're like, babe, grow up. It was not. It was, in fact, a really good
All
thing.
the time. All the time. All the time. I just even just talking to you last week and not being able to talk, I was like, oh my God, this is the decline of my podcast. I'm letting people down. I'm too focused on DJing. All these things go in my head, and I'm like, this is what you get for going out to clubs at night.
I wish I was still going to clubs at night. I just wish they were earlier in the night than later in the night because I miss dancing.
Yeah, no, and I love going to them too, but I'm better at doing parties than being at the party. I
Yes,
hate
the
being at the
now.
party. I hate being at the party. But like I love making parties. I love making the atmosphere for people. But
Why do you hate being in the party?
why do I just awkward. I don't know. It's like from like teenagehood to 20s, it was a lot of like drinking, and it's like that's what my vice was. And then after that, when I came into myself, I realized I don't need alcohol or drugs to be a party person. But then by the time I realized myself, discovered more of myself, I was like, I don't know if I like being here like this on this end. Like I'd much rather be the bartender versus the drinker.
Is that because of the control?
Oh, 100%. I am a control
Yeah.
freak. I am a
Okay.
control freak, yes, and that's why I don't have someone running my calendar. I mean, I've tried to. I'm at a level where I could have somebody run my calendar. I could have somebody set up for my, events, and I've tried doing that. Or I've had people try to set up for this,
I hate it.
and I can't do it. It's not the way I like it, and I need you when you message me, you get me. And I think that's the most important thing. I don't want to be I've talked about even just here in town just to talk to a DJ or talk to a podcaster, they go through like a hoop of people, and it's like you're not that important. Like I know where you work. Like it's not that big of a deal, but at the same time, like you don't have to be so disconnected and so, bougie about things. And then I get very
And
bitter.
hiding.
And hiding, yeah. Like I'm here, I tell people where I'm at and I know where to go, and it's not a big deal, but at the same time, like I do love my privacy, but I don't know. I think it's weird to like not it's disconnect. It's all disconnect for me. And I think that's where, I'm over controlling, but I also don't want to feel disconnected from people.
I think there's the next step because I always in my brain the way I see it is that fear is the kind of the base core place you're at where you're like, I'm afraid, one, not you or me. Fear is where we start. And then
Right.
manipulation is kind of a more powerful way of managing fear because we try and manipulate surroundings, we manipulate people, we manipulate where we are. And then control is a more powerful version of that, even. You're like, I don't need to manipulate you, but I'll control my environment.
Mhm.
And then I think maybe power is the highest form, because when you're in power, you're so powerful that this stuff doesn't touch you. And I think that's probably the holy grail, when you're like, I'm so powerful that I can be me within wherever I am and whatever I'm doing.
Mm.
And I feel like that might be what we should all be aiming for in life.
I love that. I love that, and I think that that's totally accurate, 100%. Um, I think I don't know. I'm still shook. I'm very shook because you got me thinking over here on my disconnect, and you just barely talked to me for like 10 minutes. What's going on? But I do love your you said that the idea of coaching hasn't reached your side of the world as much as it did here in the States. Why is that? And is that just like a States problem? How we're always complaining about everything? I've noticed everyone outside of here, they look at us like we're like a train wreck,
To
you
be
know?
fair, at the moment, it's a tiny bit frightening that it is a train wreck. I mean, the problem. So let's phrase it like this. I think that my favorite people in the world are American women. I really love them. They are so put together. They are like, I have about 60-70% of my clients are American women.
Uh,
Absolutely love them. And there is this, I mean, like now we have a lot of coaching here, but in the US, because it is so hard to make a living, and because you're always having to do more, it's so expensive to live in the US. It's more expensive than, for example, living here in some, in many ways. So you've got to keep making more money. And so what we do is in the US is it's ambition, drive, ambition. It's the most respected thing. And morality, values, humanity are not as respected as success.
mm,
So when you come to that place, then naturally people are going to want to do more. And if you think, well, if I get coaching, it's so effective, I'll achieve more, then you're like, who's the best coach at making me the most effective? And it kind of became, I think, a natural type thing. Whereas here, and if you go to Europe, that's even worse, because they're like, we don't even work August, right? We take off the whole of the month of August. And I'm like, how do you do that? I want to do that. So we didn't push quite that hard. But then now we have a lot of American companies here and a lot of American ideas. So that's coming more. So people are, but again, we have our healthcare paid for. We work one job, most of us, not three, and then manage to the schools tend to be mostly reasonable depending on where you live, type thing. And those are the free schools, and free schools mean you don't pay any money. So it's a different way of living. And America is a little more frightening, because the rich white American men have no consequences.
100%. I run into them on the daily basis, and like I said, they're just the townies, and
It's really hard.
the level of entitlement is crazy here.
Yeah.
You know, that's not over. I mean, entitlement's everywhere, but I mean, you don't feel that, in your field getting in the way, entitlement. I need your help to coach, but I'm too egotistical, or I'm too,
No, I have a stupid tax.
okay, okay.
I have a stupid tax. If you behave badly, I will charge you the tax. And I make it for each sort of celebrity and famous person has a particular tax that's effective for them. Because people don't have to listen to you, right?
Right.
If they're paying, they can pay you a lot of money and ignore you. And I'm like, I don't know why you're here then.
Mhm.
So if I give people homework and they don't listen to me, I explain that there is a stupid tax and that I would charge them that stupid tax depending on whatever we get to. So I do.
And are they like, I don't know, maybe it's this is like a sensitivity thing, and they take it, or they're like, that's part of the thing, like this is part of the assignment. They don't get offended by that. That's amazing. I love that.
I mean, I figured they wouldn't hire me if they were the kind of person that was easily offended.
Right. Yeah, you're definitely not, and especially that's why we're here. But I mean, at the same time, you are human, I'm sure there's something that, now we don't want to find it, but I'm sure there's something there, that
But if
gets
you think
to you.
about it, when I'm saying it's a stupid tax, in a way, there's a lot of love behind that. I'm like, this is not worthy of who you are. This
Mm.
is what you should be doing. And if you're not doing it, it's you're hurting, and that's stupid. Right. So let's fix that bit. So a stupid tax isn't I'm saying you're stupid. It's just a stupidity tax. Like, why are we doing this? This is wasting your time and my time. Can we just get a move on? And then it comes from there.
I love how every you have a good reasoning and logic behind everything you say, and I'm just so impressed of you as a person. I guess going into this. I knew you were going to be impressive, but woman, where did you come from?
Like I say, poverty is a great producer of humanity. But I grew up with a lot of money.
Hmm.
And then I went from, so I grew up in a family like that, but I'm Indian, so I was told that, here are your guardrails, the
Yeah.
little. And then I think that when I worked out that being a good girl was not very helpful, I thought, how can I be the most powerful person that I know? And that was my goal. And I'm one of the most powerful women that I know, and I'm one of the most powerful men that I know too. So I'm like, I'm good with that. I'm just gonna go happily and do what I'm doing.
So cool.
But you can't take yourself too seriously either. I think if you take yourself really seriously, you end up a pious twit.
Mm.
And I'm like completely willing to not do that.
Do does being a single mother, it does help, but does it definitely like it's definitely embedded in you. Like you don't give off trad wife. I just learned about trad wife now though. You know what I mean? Like I don't see you stay at home cooking and then still being this, powerhouse. So do you think you could have not been here if you were still in that trad wife position? Because you have it in
Hardware.
you. You have it in you. You
Oh
have
yeah, I
that.
baked. I literally baked before I came on. I made coffee and banana muffins. Like so
Wow.
and I made my bread. And I will shoot you if you tell me what to do. Like, it's those two. But then okay, let's think about it, Lewis. We all have the trad is from where we come from.
Yes.
My trad was living and growing up somewhere where there was someone helping my mother in the house.
Hmm.
Right. So my version, so I'm speaking to women. I'm having a fight with a woman last week. Her business is turning over 150 million pounds. Like that's what $200 million dollars a year. And I'm like, I think you need to get help at home. She has two children. And she's like, yeah, but and I'm like, I'm sorry, just a moment. How many of your shares do you have? She was like, whatever. I'm like, so you're worth like 50 million quid. She went a bit more. I'm like, oh dear, I wonder if we could afford a goddamn housekeeper. Are you nuts? Pay someone to do this shit. And then she's like, okay, don't shout at me. And I'm like, you know, choose what it is you want to do, choose what you hate to do, and then work out the difference. I
Hmm.
hate to cook, hate it. I will not cook, but I need good food and I need healthy food because I work 10 hours a day.
Yeah.
So somebody comes, cooks me really nice food. I'm very grateful. I don't buy handbags. My friends will spend thousands on a handbag. I will spend thousands on having someone make my food for me. So I
Hmm.
think we balance these things out.
Yeah.
But because I had nothing. I had two pairs of shoes, one pair of trousers, four dresses for a year and a half. That's all the clothes I had. And I wasn't going to put money on my clothing. Why would I do that? I had to pay for the kids' things.
Yeah.
So I'm good at doing without.
You went the
I'm not
complete
afraid of
different.
having.
You went the complete different like you went the different route on that spectrum because usually when you get stuff you want more, but you kind of just kept that humbleness of like not needing a lot of things. You could have
Yeah,
just
but
went the wrong
when
way and just bought those handbags.
it's only now I'm thinking I should like spend some money because I didn't. I would walk past these shops at night, Lewis, when the children were sleeping because I couldn't sleep because I was so scared and I was so afraid and I just didn't know how we were going to eat the next day. And
Mm.
I walked past all these shops and I was like, I can't go into one of these shops because I can't afford anything. And it closed a door in my brain. And I just was like, no, that's it. And it's never really gone away. But I have a funny story. So I was doing a little deal with the universe because I was like, I don't know how to do what I'm doing, but the universe is going to help me. And so I was like, a friend of mine came to me and he said, listen, I'm building a roof on this girls' school in India. And the boys' school have a roof and the girls' school don't have a roof. That's not fair. And I need £1,000 to build this roof. I was like, shall I give you my 10 pennies that I have in the corner? He goes, I know you're too poor. I'm just venting. I was like, okay. I was like, I tell you what, babe, if I make that money, I'll give you 1,000. He goes, thanks, sweetie. I know that. And then he left. And I was saying to the universe, I'm going to give 10% of what I make to charity. So I'm going to give this, let me work out how I can get this guy his £1,000 because it's just not a lot. How do I get it for him? I was like, okay, I commit to this. I woke up the next day and this guy rang me and he said, blah, 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 blah. And I had made like £200 or £100 until then. He goes, I've got this thing and they need you to do it. And I was like, oh, okay, well, what are they going to pay me for it? Because, I'm like, I'm not getting out of bed for unless it's £300. He goes, oh, they'll give you £10,000.
Mm.
And I couldn't breathe. I was like, yes. They're like, do you want? I'm like, as long as I have to sleep with anybody, yes, I'll do it. And he was like, right, okay, I'll send you the contract. And I looked at this thing, Lewis, and I remembered that I had to give 10% of it away. We
Yeah.
were living on £14 a day. I had to give £1,000 to somebody. And I was like, okay, God, you know what? When we were talking, we didn't mean immediately. I was like, let's build up to it. I'll give 2%, then 5%, then we'll give 10%. Do you know what I mean? I think it's unreasonable. £1,000. Do you know how long I can live? I had this huge discussion with God and the universe. And then I gave the guy £1,000.
Amazing.
It
Amazing.
was it hurt me. Let me tell you, I feel like saying I'm a good person. It hurt me to give him that money. But
Amazing
he
though.
sent me a photo of the roof.
But
And
only
then I,
because you have integrity though. Even when like when you have talks to God, you still have like that huge level of integrity. You still did it.
oh, I did. But boy, did I try to negotiate my way out of it. I promise you, I tried really hard. I couldn't find a way out.
That's amazing. But I love that.
So,
And it makes me want to like, makes me feel like I need like I do those kind of conversations too. And I do very similar things on a smaller level, yes, for sure. And I'm waiting for one of the days to be like, boom, 1,000.
well, why don't you commit to giving away a bigger number? And then more has to come into the commitment. So I hadn't understood that because I was committing to that big number, the number had to be bigger.
Yeah.
That was the thing. So if I'm committing to giving £100, I'll make 500. But when you're committing to giving 1,000 and then it all turns up and you're like, whoa, it
Hmm.
was terrifying. It was, but I do it still now.
I think that is something I might have to implement more in my life now too. And it is something that I do, think it's I do treasure those type of ideas because I do believe in paying it forward. So Um, I think you're just I'm gonna start doing more stuff now. Watch. I love these type of conversations, and it just sucks because like we've only been here for like less than 45 minutes, and it just feels like such a good like. I love your vibe. I love what you're doing.
Thank you.
Unfortunately, like we are coming, to the end. But I do want everyone before they, get tired of me. Where can we find you? Would you have any shameless plugging? I want people to find you more about you. Where can we get you?
Um, I don't know about shameless plugins. There's on Instagram, like if you go on Instagram, there's the bio, there's a link in the bio that goes to booking a call with me. You can download a little leadership course and stuff. And I'm all over social media. So, find me somewhere and also just say hello.
What's your handle so I can and
Geeta Sidhu-Robb. It's GeetaSidhuRobb everywhere.
perfect and I'll definitely make sure to get everyone because everyone that information. That's so cool that you're just like so accessible to people, but at the same time you're just I don't feel like you're a counselor. Like I don't feel like you're a coach. I feel like you're just like a really like down to earth person with some really good life advice. And it's just not intimidating. It is intimidating, but
No,
it's not
no,
intimidating.
I'm not intimidating at all because I'll start swearing quietly in the corner. So I definitely will not intimidate you.
Well, I love this conversation. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me and just getting, letting me pick your brain, just the surface of it. You guys have been listening to Down the Rabbit Hole podcast. One more time, throw me those handles. And I want everyone to know again, plug it into their brain. Where can we find you?
Thank you so much for having me, Lewis. I'm so grateful to be here. And please find me on anything that says Geeta Sidhu-Robb. So on Instagram, there's a website, there's anywhere, Geeta Sidhu-Robb.
And that's also your website too, right?
Everything.
Oh, easy branding. I love it. Easy and accessible branding, guys. Thank you guys so much. You guys have a wonderful evening. I'll talk to you guys on the next one.
Hello. Please leave a message after the tone.
Bro, what the fuck? You still have my sister for your voicemail? You need to change that shit. Because when somebody calls you for a job opportunity, they're gonna be like, so is it sushi or you're crazy? um, bro, this is crazy.
Lois, I literally cannot.
We can't hang up. What's the phone?
¿Dónde estás, Spooky? Llámame.
Hey sweet cakes, it's me. I was just calling to let you know how much I really do miss you, babe. I've been thinking of you all day, and I hope that you're having a great day, because I know how you told me how much your coworkers are annoying. It's okay, babe, because I know you're gonna get through it. But I really do hope you have a good day, and I was thinking of making you your favorite pasta. What do you think? But babe, I really miss you. Please give me a call when you get the chance. I love you.
You're so cute. You're so cute. Damn, Luis, you just keep giving me challenge after challenge, and you know I'm down. But I'm interested in all the cochinadas que quieres hacerme. I'm like curious about it. What can it be? Well, let's just find out, I guess. All right, I'll talk to you soon.